Welcome to Winning Wall Street's Money. Please take this moment now with helping me. Click here, subscribe. Next, click this bell. Next, ensure to click all. This helps you receive a notification when I posted my next videos. Next, click this thumbs up button after every time you watch my video. This pushes it up in the engagement ratings and means it will be suggested to more people, therefore is likely to get more views to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. I also have a Patreon page. Click show more. Scroll down. This link here, my Patreon, click on it. Select the membership. With this membership, you'll get access to all this information. Very good content. Sunday, September 26, 1:38 p.m. New York time. We're discussing currencies, so we'll look at the Forex pairs. I'm going to first start off with the US dollar index. The US dollar index includes several currencies inside that index. The biggest currency in the US dollar index is the euro. It makes up approximately 57% of the US dollar index. Second is the Japanese yen, makes up about 13+%. And then you have the British pound that makes up more than 11%, the Canadian dollar, a little more than 9%, the Swedish krona, a little more than 4%, and the Swiss franc, a little more than 3%. So since I mentioned that, after we look at the US dollar, we'll look at those three largest pairs in the US dollar, the euro, the yen, and then the pound. We're going to be looking at charts that each candle represents a week. And since the currency market's currently not open till this evening, we can see the full trading week. Okay. So some basic information on currencies. What could affect the currency value before buyers or sellers come in? Well, that's the nation of the creation of that currency. So let's discuss the US dollar. US dollar. The Federal Reserve, central banks of the United States, the Federal Reserve, determines to raise interest rates that can strengthen the US dollar. So right now, our interest rates are almost near zero. That's one way to understand the price of a currency, the strength of a currency. The next is safe haven. Safe haven. Would you rather have your investment capital, your money, in Russian rubles or the US dollar? Yeah. Let me give you another example. Rather have your money in Chinese yuan or the US dollar? Understand? So most people in the world rather put it in a safe haven currency. And in the bigger perspective, there are several safe haven currencies, the US dollar, Japanese yen, and the Swiss franc. Of course, day to day, people rotate where they may want to park their currencies. And some of them keep in a basket of currencies, several currencies. Also, there's, let's say, people may want to keep their currency where they feel it's more accessible. So do you think if your money is invested in the United States, it's more accessible, or if it was in Russia, more accessible to be able to take in and out of the country? So maybe you have your money in China and you want to take that money that you have in China and go to Japan, Germany, Canada. Is that easy to do? Or if you're in the United States and you want to take your money out of the United States and go to Canada, Germany, Japan, is that easier to do? Yeah, there's several things to understand of why certain people park their money in certain currencies. Okay, now we'll look at the charts, charting, technical analysts. The US dollar, this was the low of the year. And this was the high of the year, these yellow horizontal lines. So beginning of the year, we went higher, strengthened the US dollar. We had a pullback, or if you want to call it retracement, and that pullback retracement did not go all the way to the low. Yep. And then it reversed, went back up. And when it went back up, it did price higher than that original high. That's good. And it had a pullback, retracement, whatever you want to call it. Went up. And look at that. This last week's candle high did not take out that high. That's concerning. Okay. But notice this. Sorry. Notice this purple line. The momentum, the trend is still to the upside. It's been making higher lows. See these lows higher, and the highs of these candles higher high. So again, this is still a bullish trend. And for the year, we're still bullish because this is where we are now. It's above the opening of the year. So we have multiple ways to look at this if you're bullish or bearish. That alone does not tell you the currency is going to continue going higher. But it does prove right now that it's bullish. And then within this US dollar, I mentioned there's several currencies. We need to determine where those are. Are they're stronger or weaker in here? Yep, because this price action is also weighted in these other currencies I mentioned. Okay, let's go look at some of those currency pairs. We'll first look at the euro pairs, because again, I said it's the largest weighted average currency in the US dollar index. So we'll first start off with the euro US dollar. These are Forex symbols. The first three letters represent the stronger currency, followed by the three letters on the right. What that means is when you see these price action going up, that's strength to the currency pair on the left. First, if it's declining, it's stronger for the currency pair on the right. So here it's the euro US dollar. Again, when this trend was going up, that was giving strength to the euro or weakening the US dollar. Inverse, when this trend was going down, that's weakening the euro, going stronger US dollar. So for the year, the euro USD was up here. We're not up there anymore. So that means the euro's gotten weaker against the US dollar. And this is where we are right now. So almost at the year low. Here's the year low, almost there. Yep. So the US dollar is stronger than the euro for the year. And look at this. We haven't taken out this low yet. This low, we're near it. We're also in this green area. This green area has been acting as a demand zone. Buyers stepped in here, brought it up. Buyers brought it here and brought it up. And we're made a current trend is going down. Understand that current trend is going down. So be concerned. Be concerned. Let's think about that. As we see, the lows have been making lower lows, and the top of these candles have been making lower highs. So that trend is down. Maybe it's going to continue. We also see this gray area has been a supply area. That means the supply where sellers were. When the price went up there, people were selling because they didn't have continued going up. And then it went back up here, seller. So if this continues going down, that's going to strengthen the US dollar much more than other currencies. Because again, I mentioned the euro makes up almost 57% of the US dollar. Let's go on to the next. Let's continue looking at the euro. See how the euro is doing against other currencies. The euro yen. Yep, remember that euro yen. So when this goes higher, that's giving strength to the euro. Versus if it's going down, that means the yen's gaining strength against the euro. There's the low for the year. There's the high for the year. So it's still bullish for the year because we haven't taken out the low. So it's still giving favor to the euro against the yen. And currently it's in a consolidation. This green horizontal line has been a demand zone where buyers stepped in. We did break below it. And then reversed went higher. We broke below it again and closed above it. So this demand zone is still holding up. May not continue. Yeah. Need to determine that. Well, how do we know? Well, some of that is with the policy the euro's doing, the EU. Yeah, the EU policies. And those policies will affect the value of this currency. And when that's determined, traders are going to determine if they support that or they think it's going to be positive, well, then they would want to be buying the euro against the yen. Versus if they think it's bad policies, that's going to weaken the currency, the euro against the yen, well, then they'd be shorting it, selling it, making money on the downside. Got it? Yeah. Huge consolidation over here for several months. Yep, they're certainly struggling. The euro, British pound. Here's the high for the year. Here's the low for the year. Look at that. Most of the year, it's been a consolidation. It's been struggling. So that was one trend. And then most of the year, like I mentioned, here consolidation. It's a stalemate between these two, the euro and the pound. Let them settle it in rugby. Let them settle it in soccer. See who's got the better team. But again, it's not the best trading pair here. Not for, at least if you're looking for a trend. Euro Canada. Here's the high. Here's the low. So it's been trending down. That's giving favor to the Canadian dollar. Because again, see this 3 letters on the right, CAD, Canadian dollar. As it's declining, it's giving favor to the Canadian dollar against the euro. That's good. So the Canadian dollar is doing better than the euro. Outstanding. Currently, it's in a consolidation. It's not trending here. It's in a huge consolidation, a lot of price range. Yep. And it's off the low. So that's pushing up the euro, gaining strength against the Canadian dollar here. It's not the best to be trading right now. There's better pairs. Euro, Swiss franc. I mentioned safe haven currencies. I mentioned the Swiss franc is one of the safe haven currencies. The other two I mentioned were Japanese yen and US dollar. So here was the low for the year. Oh, sorry, here's the low for the year. This was the low for the year. We already took it out. Here's the high for the year. So again, this is giving favor to the Swiss franc because the high was there, and as it declined, it was giving favor to the Swiss franc. Looking for the week, huge red candle. So maybe we're having a continuation trend going down. That would give favor to the Swiss franc. So maybe you might consider trading this bearish profit as the price declines. Euro, Aussie, dollar. Low for the year. So the trend started here at the beginning of the year. They went lower, giving favor to the Australian dollar. Didn't last too long. It's been trending up most of the year, giving favor to the euro against the Australian dollar. There's a high for the year. So you consider this as a retracement from here down. And if you're still bullish, well, the trend's going up. So the bigger trend is up and still bullish the euro because we took out the beginning of the year. Yeah. So now you got to be concerned about when this had this pullback, is this going to be a continued trend to the upside? Or is this just going to be a retracement of here? Well, we really won't know until this swing high is broken. But there are buyers in here right now still buying it. They have higher lows and higher highs, even though this closed nearly the same price where it opened. That's a concern. Yeah, I think that's like referred to maybe as a dragonfly. Anyway, it's a doji with a huge tail on the top and bottom, and there's extreme ones. So maybe it's called a dragonfly. I forgot. That could be a turning signal. Could be a trade out there right there. If it reverses and starts trading below that low, that could be a good trade for the short. Let's look on the next currency pairs, the yen, the second biggest currency in the US dollar. So first we'll start off looking at the US dollar, Japanese yen. Here's the low for the year. Here's the high for the year. Yep, the first 3 letters are USD. So that means the US dollar is the winner. Yep, the trend is to the upside, favoring the US dollar against the yen. And look at this gray dotted line I have here, just showing again higher highs, higher lows. It's in a tight consolidation the last several months. That's concerning. Yep. But we haven't taken out the high here, but one would expect this strength. Yep. We may just have that run up here. So again, still bullish bias for the US dollar against the yen. The euro, Japanese yen. Yep. One of the safe haven currencies, Japanese yen. So here we go. Beginning of the year, we were down here and then went up here to the high. That was giving strength to the euro against the yen. Had that retracement, and now it's an consolidation. Green horizontal line has been a demand zone where buyers stepped in. And it's been testing it several times. And I mentioned this earlier. I first started showing the euros against the pair. So we'll go forward because I already showed you this. British pound, Japanese yen. Look at that trend. The trend is up, giving favor to the pound against the yen. Huge consolidation. Huge consolidation. Yep, minor trend up here. The majority of it, look at that, went up. Consolidation here went up, did a pullback, and it's getting short of. Let's just do that. Still bullish bias because we haven't taken out this low. So we have this tight wedge being built up in here. You got to be concerned. Nope, let's leave that off. At this pullback, if it's on weakness, then we want to expect to break to the upside. So watch this closely, because if we do end up breaking above here, we might run up, take out that swing high. If you think the British pound is going to continue being on the upside. Here we go. Canadian, Japanese yen. Canadian is in the leadership. Bottom to the high. And the retracement went down. When this went down, it gave favor to the Japanese yen, weakening the Canadian dollar. But now it's came into this demand zone where buyers stepped in. And this is a huge consolidation here. Two safe haven currencies, the Swiss franc and Japanese yen. Wow, the beginning of the year was here, huge consolidation. And when it reversed and finally started to trend, again, consolidation here and trending, this trend was going up in favor of the Swiss franc, weakening the Japanese yen. Then we had a retracement. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Wow, what a reverse. So here was the beginning of the year. The trend went up in favor of the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. This retracement was so steep. We took out the low of the beginning of the year. So as we trace, it was the Japanese yen leading. Now look at that. Huge consolidation. A lot of whipsaw. A lot of whipsaw. Let's look at the last pair. The pound, the British pound. Pound US dollar. There we go. Beginning of the year, the trend was going up in favor of the British pound. The nerve of them. Yep, they were giving, pound was giving favor against the US dollar. Then we did that retracement. That retracement did not do 100% retracement. See the yellow horizontal line, that was the low of the year beginning, and we have not taken that out. So still there's a bullish bias for the pound against the US dollar. And that would be determined. We either break above this high or low if it changes. Yeah, but now it's in a tight consolidation. See these gray lines I drew? It's in a wedge. This wedge is getting tighter. And as it's getting tighter, it's a coil inside, they're building coil. Determine if it's going to break out to the upside, this coil, break out of the wedge, or break up to the downside. Well, with some policies currently going on in the United Kingdom, I'm leaning maybe it's bearish, and maybe we'll have a stronger dollar to break this down against the pound. Pound, Japanese yen. So at the beginning of the year, the pound was stronger than the yen. Did that retracement, and I already showed this in the earlier part of the video. Let's continue. Euro, British pound. I already mentioned this earlier in the video. Pound, Canadian dollar. Wow, look at all this whipsaw. Beginning of the year, the trend went from here up, giving favor to the pound against the Canadian dollar. So there's the high. And then when we did the retracement, steep retracement, it took out the low at the beginning of the year. That's not good. Huge whipsaw. But when that retracement went down, it gave favor to the Canadian dollar against the British pound. And since then, here's the low of the year. Do another retracement. That's going up, giving favor to the pound against the Canadian dollar. And this past week, huge sell-off, huge trading range. The high, the low, closing nearly near the low. And in the past, this has been a demand zone. Buyers stepped in here. That's not a good thing to see. So if we have a retracement up here, you may have new people looking to trade short up here. And then they're expecting it to roll over. So see this gray horizontal line? Yeah, we have higher lows here, but this just huge impulse move down. We either expect to have continuation going down, or minor retracement, and then a rollover. Opportunities to trade short if you're bearish. Pound or Swiss franc. safe haven currency. The low of the year, as the trend went up, giving strength to the pound against the Swiss franc, a huge consolidation. So still strong pound against the Swiss franc. And this huge impulse move down, red candle impulse move down. Notice that gray horizontal line, that's the midpoint. And it has not closed above that. No. And it's pretty much staying above 125. So huge consolidation. Where do you think this is going to be at the end of the year? We're much closer to the end of the year. Yeah. See what happens if we're going to have another impulse move down to the downside, or if it's going to finally break above that. And the pound Australian dollar. Beginning of the year, there's a high of the year. Pound super strong against the Australian dollar. And there it is, red for the week. We had a till on the bottom there. Interesting too. Two candles side by side, inside candle, reverse went up. So the trend is still bullish to the upside, and even this trend still leaning bullish bias to the upside. So opportunities. One might wait to reload if it goes down here, or if there's a fast trigger down here on the faster time frame, looking to buy if you're bullish on the pound against the Aussie. So if you like what I shared, why about clicking that like? And if you want to know my next videos come out, you just simply click that subscribe and you get notifications. Thank you, as always, for spending just a little bit of your time with me. Let me know what you thought about this video, and please let me know what you want to see next. If you got value from this video, if this was helpful, then please consider sharing a small monetary donation to my channel. By going below and clicking on my PayPal link, you can leave a small tip. If you don't want to share financial support, no problem. Just click the like and subscribe.